Hello YouTube, this is BUB'S Comics coming at you with a comic haul. I got my first PGX Slabs come back. So it's my first time doing this, so I'm hoping we got some good grades. Looks like we did. So we're pretty happy about that. Also, I got a couple of pickups here. First up, we got Wizard World, Wizard number 1/2, Tomb Raider. So as you all know, I'm trying to complete my Tomb Raider Volume 1 run. It's got the COA there, and Tomb Raider 1/2. Picked this up at my local comic shop. Has Facebook auctions, and I just happened to be on there one morning, caught it, and it was $5, so I picked it up. It's about what it's worth. It goes for about $6. There's a couple other variants. This is the Andy Park cover, which I like a whole lot, but there's another variant that has a gold foil top. I like that as well. I'd like to pick that up too. This one's about $5. It's the most expensive of the variants, other than the Dynamic Forces signed edition, which isn't this picture. So happy to have this one because I'm a big Andy Park fan when it comes to these Tomb Raider covers. They just look fantastic. Next, I got a couple of run fillers. Savage Wolverine number 3. I think that's a Cho cover. So Savage Wolverine number 4. And Savage Wolverine number 5. So those were some I was missing in my Savage Wolverine run. And then I picked up this variant cover of Wolverine number 42. I think that's volume 3 or 4. It's a Civil War run. So Wolverine number 42 right there, variant cover. Like that a lot. And then up next, I got to give a couple of shout outs here. Firstly, we got one going out to well, what happened is that Paul over at Reader's Retreat had a contest going on where he was giving away your choice of a book or a comic book. So he had this little contest going on, and he only had 2 entrants. So shout out to Reader's Retreat. But he had 2 entrants, and the 2 entrants were me and Don the Doctor. Well, guess who won? Don the Doctor won, of course. And what's funny is this was like the 1st of May or so. So a lot of people were having their contest drawings, and I had entered 3 contests in the month of April. And just because I intended to enter like 20 of them, but I just couldn't get to them all. And his was just a comment entry, so I didn't have to make a video. So anyway, his was one of the only ones that I did enter, and of course I lost because I was going up against Don. So Don the Doctor, this one's for you. But then I got a package in the mail yesterday, and it was the book with a letter from Reader's Retreat saying that Don the Doctor wanted me to have this, so he more or less sent it to me as an AOK. So thank you very much, Don. You didn't have to do that. I really appreciate it, and thank you, Reader's Retreat, for holding this contest. Or this giveaway rather. Thank both of you for this. I'm going to enjoy this, and I look forward to reading it. And thanks for the AOK. So technically, I think it's a contest winning and an AOK. So that puts me in pretty good company because Donnie's the luckiest of us all. So sorry for having my thumb over Wonder Woman. But that's where she likes it. All right. So on to the slab haul. I think I'm going to take this down because it might be a little too low for the slabs. So let's see how this goes. So the first one we have Battlestar Galactica, and that came back at a 7.5. These were all sent to PGX. Came back at a 7.5. Doesn't look half bad. Very happy with that. It's from 1979, so 7.5 is not too bad. Off-white to white pages. It reprints Marvel Super Special number 8. So Battlestar Galactica number 1. That book fetches a pretty decent price online too, surprisingly enough. This next one is John Carter, Warlord of Mars. That's an 8.0 I got on that, and that's the origin of John Carter, off-white to white pages. And I really like this cover. I think this is a pretty neat cover. It's got so much going on It's just pretty impressive to me. I like it a lot. So that's cool. We're going up in grades here. But next we have another 8.0. And it's Marvel Spotlight on Captain Marvel. So I thought that was pretty cool. Number 1. And that's the graders notes on this, or whatever, the significance. It just says letters from Kurt Busiek and Scott McCloud. I don't know what that means, but you all let me know if you do. But it's a newsstand edition, so that's pretty cool. Next we have an 8.5 for Marvel Comics Group's Tales to Astonish, starring the Submariner. So what's cool about this is that this is a cover swipe of, it's actually like a reprint cover. There's very slight differences between this and Submariner number 1. So this reprints Submariner number 1. And it's from 1979, off-white to white pages with 8.5. And it's also a newsstand edition. So anytime you pick up those newsstand editions, it's helpful to the value, of course. Alrighty, folks. Now this is one, some of these I'm going to be selling, some of them I'm going to be keeping, most of them I'm probably going to sell to help fund, the comic hobby / addiction. So, but this one I'm kind of torn on. It's Ren and Stimpy Show number 1. It's the first appearance of Ren and Stimpy and Powdered Toast Man. And it's 8.5 white pages. Now I'm going to a Comic-Con relatively in my area this summer, and Bob Camp, the creator of Ren and Stimpy, is going to be there. Now, of course, when I found out he was going to be at that con, that was 2 days after I sent these off to get graded. So I had no idea. Had I known that he was going to be there, of course, I would have held this book back, got it signed, and then sent it in. So as it stands now, I really don't know what to do. I could crack it, but I don't think it's really worth cracking in 8.5. I'll probably just leave it or sell it. And then I may try and acquire a higher grade copy of it between now and then and get it signed and then get that slab. So that's probably what I'm going to do. So this is probably going to be a sale. I was going to keep it, but now that I think I can get one signed, I'm probably going to go ahead and sell it. So next we have a 9.0 Peter Porker the Spectacular Spider-Ham. This was one I had picked up in a haul, and I wanted to get it slabbed, and I was really interested to grade. Part of the reason that I did this was to learn more about the grading process, to sharpen my eye as to what I was picking up. I felt like I was picking up, the books that I was selecting were all 8.0s and above. And I was right with the exception of just one book that got a 7.5. Everything else was 8 and above. So, and all the 9s I had pegged at 9. So I did pretty good in my eyeball grading there in my rough estimate. So this one, Marvel Tales, of course, Tails, as they changed it. So Marvel Tales, Peter Porker, the Spectacular Spider-Ham, first appearance of Spider-Ham. Mark Armstrong, Steve Miller, white pages, newsstand edition too, which is pretty neat. What surprised me about this, and it could be a PGX versus CGC and CBCS debate point, but they only put first appearance of Spider-Ham, and I'm pretty sure it's also the first appearance of Hulk Bunny, Captain America, who make other appearances later in the series, and Goose Rider. So why did they only put the first appearance of Spider-Ham? Like that's the only thing that mattered. I would have much preferred them put the rest as well. This next one is a definite keeper. This one's not going anywhere. And it is a 9.2 Tomb Raider, the series number 1 from 1999. And it's white pages, the variant cover. There's like 7 variant covers of this book. But this is the one that I wanted to get slabbed because I had a double of it. And this particular one was in, I thought, 9.0 condition at least. So to get a 9.2, I'm very pleased with that. And that's staying in the collection. This book isn't going anywhere. It's not even thinking about going anywhere except maybe on a wall. And I got to figure out how to hang these. So we got that issue to deal with next. Okay, next going up the scale, we have the Infinity Gauntlet number 2. Very pleased to get a 9.2 on that book. I submitted 2 of these, and this was the lower grade that I got, and I thought it was pretty much a toss-up. I thought they were both about 9.0s. So to get a 9.2 on this, I'm very pleased. Nothing significant about this book other than the Infinity Gauntlet #2, and it's just a really neat cover because it has all these different characters on it, and of course an iconic story, and now, you know, with the movie and everything, it's pretty hot property. And 9.2 white pages for a 1991 book's not too bad. For what I gave for it, it's a total steal. The next one in the list is a 9.4 of the same book. And, you know, it's one of those where once you get into the 9s, like my grading skills are not to the point yet where I can really determine the different 9s. I'm just getting ranges, you know, because once you get into 9s, you start getting 9.2, 9.4, 9.6, 9.8. Well, hardly anything I see I feel is a 9.8 because that's almost a perfect book, and most of the books that I'm coming across are not near mint. They're very fine plus and kind of minty, but not exactly. So when I came across this book, I could barely tell the difference between these 2 books. I felt like they were both 9.0 candidates and maybe a little higher. But the 9.4 has kind of a cleaner back cover and no spine roll at all. And the 9.2 has a little bit of a spine roll there. And my feeling is that's what made the difference. So next, for the highest graded book that I got back, and the last book, it's a 9.6 Generation X #1, first appearance of Chamber, and a chromium wraparound cover is what they put as the notes. So there's a pretty neat looking cover, and of course it wraps around to that side as well. So here's what I like about these books is you can get the Generation X book, and it's like a hard plastic kind of cover. So that chromium cover, it's not really paper, it's like plastic. So there are no spine ticks on this book. There's none. In fact, I'm surprised it didn't get a 9.8. You know, it shows what little I may know about it. But to me, most of the time when I see this book, it's a 9-point-something candidate. And in this case, it got a 9.6. You know, I don't really know why. It looks perfect to me. Really the only book that I had submitted that I thought maybe was going to get a 9.8. But at a 9.6, I'm so happy with that. And my guess is if you can find this book just about anywhere, you can get a 9-point-something out of it because of the plasticky material of the cover. It just doesn't deteriorate. And it almost makes me wonder, you know, cost aside, wouldn't it be nice if all books were printed on this type of material? That way the covers would kind of last forever. So, but of course that's not going to happen. So forget about that. So that's it. That's my haul. Thanks again to Don the Doctor and Paul over at Reader's Retreat for the contest winnings in the AOK. And we'll leave you with Miss Lara Croft. Let me get her put up on there. And we'll all say goodbye to you all. Thanks from BUB'S Comics. And when you get done, crack open a slab and read a comic. Yeah, let's do that. Crack open a slab and read a comic. Don't get to film it or it didn't happen. All right, thanks, y'all. Bye.